Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So here we are going into the second week of February, and I am out here in the garden. We have a fairly nice day out today. It's a little cloudy, but it's supposed to get up to like 62 degrees, which is above the average for this time of year for here in Zone 7A, formerly the zone known as 6B. And what I have here is kale growing. Now the crazy thing is that I planted this kale in late September, and because we got early frost and our fall got cold pretty quick, I had started the kale too late. And so it was warm enough right at first to get it germinated and some of it to sprout. But once it got, just a couple inches tall, it kind of just stopped. Hung in there. But it has lived in my hoop bed here over the winter. And with this plastic covering, which I've covered on other videos, with growing some of the cold tolerant crops under a hoop bed, it actually survived, even though it's very small and not well established yet. It still was able to survive even single digit nights, single digit Fahrenheit, like 9 degrees or so. We've had several of those nights. We've had a lot of nights in the 20s, a lot of hard freezes, but the plastic has protected it and it's still hanging in there. Now, I had planted 3 rows in here and a lot of it didn't come up because of probably various reasons, me starting it late. Plus there's a lot of purple dead nettle that has kind of popped up in here and I didn't keep it weeded out. So I have cleared out a lot of it, but there's still some purple dead nettle over here that choked out a lot of, I think, what I planted. And there's even more, here's one here, trying to sprout up in the middle of my little plants. But in years where I have planted the kale earlier, like late summer, so that it could get more fully grown and better established, I was harvesting kale through a large part of the winter, even in snow. This year that wasn't the case because I started it much later, but because it survived, throughout the winter, and looking at future forecast, I think that it should probably make it through this winter, and as it starts to warm up, as we're coming into spring, it will start growing, and then I can get a really early harvest of kale coming into the spring, where normally I probably wouldn't have a whole lot of greens that early here in my area. So something to think about for your area, especially for things like kale, maybe Swiss chard, some of these cold tolerant greens, that you can plant them late summer, early fall, get them kind of going. If you get them started early enough, you might be harvesting throughout the winter, or get them going enough that they can be protected with like a plastic covered hoop bed, and then you can have an early harvest in the spring, much earlier than what you might normally be used to. So, second part of this is talking about the dead nettle. Dead nettle, purple dead nettle, is not native to the United States. It was originally, it's native to like Eurasia, Europe, Asia, is where it originated from, but over time it has ended up in the United States, like many foreign species do come across on boats or whatever. Seeds, whatever, get brought here, and then they get established and in many cases become invasive species. Now, because dead nettle has been here so long, it is considered now naturalized, which basically means that while it didn't originate here, it's kind of a normal thing across the United States. It kind of grows everywhere. And some may consider it an invasive species because it does grow very quickly and can overtake different things. The great thing about purple dead nettle is that it is edible. Now, this is, if you're going to use purple dead nettle for either a medicinal purpose or for a salad or whatever it is, with any type of wild foraging, wild plant, make sure you check with your physician, dietitian, naturalist, whoever it is that you go for, someone that's a certified that can give you more details. because purple dead nettle does have some various things about it, properties about it. It's a diuretic. It can also, if you, for example, you can make dead nettle tea, but if you drink too much dead nettle tea, it can be more of a laxative. You might find yourself spending a lot of time in the bathroom if you drink too much of it. But it's also anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. There's a lot of aspects to purple dead nettle. I'll show you a close-up here of what it looks like. It's very easy to kind of determine the plant. There are no poisonous lookalikes to purple dead nettle, so it's the one plant that it can be confused with is, I think it's called henbit, and there's mainly a difference in the leaves is the way that you tell, but henbit is also an edible plant, so it's not like you have to worry about like, oh, I thought this was purple dead nettle and I ate the wrong thing and now I'm gonna die. That's not something you have to worry about with purple dead nettle. Now this is really early purple dead nettle, so there's not a whole lot of purple going on. It's all just the young green leaves, but as spring comes in, it will get taller and put off some little purple flowers. It's similar to dandelions, as it's one of the first flowering plants that will come up in the spring and provides an early food for your local pollinators like bees. Bees love purple dead nettle, and so if you see it growing around your yard, definitely hang on to it. You might need to control it because it can be prolific and spread. I've got a little herb and flower garden bed up off the back of my deck outside the kitchen, and the purple dead nettle has definitely taken over part of that. And I'll tend to like mow parts of it down and leave some of it, and then for the bees and stuff, but then I control it in other areas. And in this bed, I will remove it because I don't need it in here, because there's plenty of other places in my yard where I can get it. And because this is a covered bed, the bees won't be using it anyway. But I could use these leaves for making a tea, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to give it to my chickens because, as I mentioned, it has antifungal, antibacterial properties, and chickens do tend to eat it from time to time. My chickens can be kind of picky about different things, so we'll see if they'll eat some of this today. But it's really, if you've got chickens, it's a good snack for your chickens to have as well. But just like anything, you don't want to give them, a massive amounts of it, but it's fine for them to eat. So I'm going to pull some of this out here and I'll take it over to the chickens next. So you can, and also the dead nettle flowers have a little bit of nectar in them that can have a little bit of a sweet taste. They are good for making teas with, along with the leaves. All parts of the plant are edible, and they have various medicinal uses, but do your own research on amounts and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to get into that much detail today, but I just wanted to point out that this is a plant that will show up in your yard and your garden that you can use. And it's not necessarily just a weed. It's a useful plant that has a lot of things, whether it's for your use or for the use of your chickens, and as well as the local pollinators. And then plant yourself some kale. But that's all I have to say today. So I appreciate that you're hanging out with me again today, and I hope whatever's going on in your neck of the woods is working out fantastic for you. And we're coming into spring. Hope you're getting some planting started. Getting close for the 2024 garden. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and give us some likes, comments, and whatnot down below. And we will see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste.